எனக்கு ஐடியாவே இல்ல. எனக்கு ஐடியாவே இல்ல. ஏதாச்சும் சொல்ல.
All the participants are requested to switch on their videos. Even if you don't have the backdrop, it's okay. Keep your videos on and put yourselves on unmute position. Yes. Okay. Good evening, everyone. So here we are going live. Good evening, everyone. So today on the session number 15, we have already traveled 15 days of journey, the half a century complete of 15 days of NEP series 2022. So before I start my session, I would like to invite my first speaker, that is Mr. Pratik Rajan Mungekar. Professor Dr. Pratik Rajan Mungekar, scientist, professor, counselor, global educator, published author, and an international speaker, India. He is the first Indian to be appointed as the Planetary Minister of Sustainable Development of newly emerging the Kingdom of Atlantis, a decentralized sovereign kingdom. He is the first youngest Indian whose book Introduction to Sustainable Developmental Goals, that is non-academic part, is now part of Altanian education program. He is the first youngest Indian to receive 300 plus honorary doctorates from all over the world. He is the first youngest Indian professor who taught to more than 8,000 plus students and career guided 4,000 plus students till date. I think there are lots of multiple achievements to Dr. Pratik Rajan sir. And before we start the session over here, I would like to start with and the topic for today is education as an economic booster. Today we have eminent speakers over here who are going to talk about how education can be used as an effective economic booster. Making some small changes in dealing with students can infuse positivity into the classroom. School and teachers' behavior towards them can bring changes in students' behavior by making them feel motivated and confident. So here we are, all of us together to help children learn how education can be used as an economic booster. So I take the privilege to invite Dr. Pratik Rajan Mungekar, sir, on the stage. Are you there, sir? Dr. Pratik, sir, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah. Most welcome.
Thank you. So can I start?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay. So thank you so much for inviting me here. So I will not waste time and start with my today's topic. So education is a very important factor in the economic development of any country. India, since the early days of independence, has always focused on improving the literacy rate in our country. Even today, the government runs many programs to promote primary and higher education in India. So let us study more about them. So first topic, which I'm going to share with you all, that is human capital. So human capital and economic growth stay hand in hand together, keeping an eye on the development of the country. So long back, the Indians recognized the importance of human capital. So the 75-year plan dictates human resources development has necessarily to be assigned a key role in any development strategy, particularly in a country with a large population. So looking at the below, I can say one can certainly say that both human capital and economic growth are interdependent on each other. Skilled and specialized workers can handle complex machines or techniques which unskilled workers cannot. So this human capital increases the productivity of physical capital. So this increases productivity, and hence increased production leads to economic growth. So new methods of production can be introduced by innovative human capital, and these facilitate an increase of production and economic growth in the form of an increase in GDP. So a higher rate of participation of human capital and equality amongst them leads to higher employment rate. As the employment increases, there will be a rise in production. Also, the standard of living increases by an increase in the income and increase in the unemployment opportunities helps in reducing inequalities of wealth. So the increment in employment rate and reduction in income inequalities are indicators of economic development. So positive picture of the society can be depicted when the process of human capital formation goes in right direction. So all the conventional and the orthodox school of thoughts gets eradicated, and hence the rate of participation in the workforce increases the production level. So this is about human capital. Now education in India. So education in India means the process of teaching, learning, and the training of human capital in schools and colleges. So this improves and increases knowledge and results in skill development, hence enhancing the quality of the human capital. So our government has always valued the importance of education in India, and this is, you can say, reflected in our economic policies. So growth in government expenditure on education. So there are two areas where government expresses their expenditure. Okay, as a percent of total government expenditure and as a percentage of gross domestic product, which is GDP. So the percentage of expenditure on education out of total government expenditure is the indicator of the importance of education in the scheme of expenses before the government. So the commitment level toward the development of education in our country can be shown by the percentage of expenditure done on the education out of the total GDP. So during 1952 to 2010, the percentage of total education expenditure out of total government expenditure increased from 7.92% to 11.10%. At the same time, the percentage of GDP of the country increased from 0.64% to 3.25%. So as the expenditure of education was not constant during that time, the growth of country was irregular in that era. So now next is expenditure on elementary education in India. So in comparison to expenditure done on elementary education and higher education, the major share was grabbed by elementary education. So on the contrary, expenditure, what I can say, per student on higher education was higher than that of the elementary education. So as the expansion of school education is going on, we need more trained teachers who have studied at educational institutes. Therefore, expenditure on all levels of education should increase. So, Himachal Pradesh, for example, spends rupees 2005 as per capita education expenditure as compared to Bihar, which spends rupees 515. So this results in differences of educational opportunities between states. Okay, next is free and compulsory education. So the Educational Commission, 1964-66, recommended that at least 6% of GDP should be spent on education to make a recognizable growth rate in education. So in December 2002, the government of India, through its 86th amendment of the Constitution of India, declared for free and compulsory education as a fundamental right to all children in the age group of 6 to 14 years. That is right to education, all know. So the Tapan Muzumdar Committee was appointed by the government of India in the year 1998, and the committee estimated an expenditure of rupees 1.37 lakh crore approximately for 1998-1999 to 2006-07 to cater all Indian children of 6 to 14 years age group under the umbrella of school education. So currently, the expenditure is around 4%, which has to be increased to 6% to reach desired results in years to come. So government levels education says at the rate of 2% on all union taxes. So the revenue from education says will be, unmarked for spending on elementary education. So now I'm going to discuss educational achievement in India. There are so many barometers of educational achievements in country, like adult literacy rate, primary education competition rate, youth literacy rate, particulars gender, or you can say adult literacy rate in female, then primary competition rate in female, then youth literacy rate in female, and the future prospects. There are many things. So Indian government considers education as a key area where drastic growth and development is required. So various future prospects have been considered and policies are drafted. So the vision is to ensure that education in India is of the highest quality and available to the whole population without discrimination. So let us look at some projects the government wishes to implement successfully. So first is education for all, a dream. Though the education level has increased for both youth as well as adults, still the number of illiterates is as much as the population was at the time of independence. So the Constituent Assembly passed the Constitution of India in the year 1950. Free and compulsory education for the children till 14 years of age within 10 years from the commencement of Constitution was noted as directive principle of the Constitution. So, there are so many factors which make education for all a dream, like gender bias, low rural access, increasing number of illiterates, privatization, low expenditure on education by government. So improving gender equity. So the difference between male and female are reducing, and the same can be seen in literacy rate, showcasing development in gender equity. Still hard work left to promote the education of women. So there are various reasons, such as the social status of women, healthcare of women and children, improving economic independence. Therefore, we cannot feel satisfied with the upward movement in literacy rate as long as miles to go for gender equity. Kerala, Mizoram, Goa, and New Delhi are having high literacy rate, whereas Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, and Rajasthan are educationally backward states. So social and economic poverty are main reasons for educational backwardness. Now, higher education. So people in India face great difficulty to reach the higher levels in the current education system. As per the National Sample Survey Organization data, in the FY 2007-8, the unemployment rate was 18.10% for youth and education up to secondary level, whereas unemployment rate for youth and education up to primary level was only 11.60%. So the government should take emphasis on allocation of higher education and improve the student. And lastly, I would like to conclude with my statement. My quote is that innovation in education and education in innovation, these are the currencies of 21st century skills. So with this, I stop here. And once again, I would like to congratulate Idym Group of Companies and Mrs. Sonal Jaz for conducting such a wonderful NEP series for all the educators, for entire the education fraternity, and for all the students, listeners, who are keen interest in education. So once again, thank you so much, all the listeners, for patiently listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And I would like to ask you some related questions on what you have spoken. Can I take the privilege to ask you?
Yes, sure.
Okay. So my first question is, you have spoken about dream education. So for the dream education, what do you think, what is lacking and what can be done?
Yes. See, first, we need to educate the educators. That is lacking. Because, before 20 years, the education system, the whole environment, the industry background, okay, that is different, altogether different. Now in this era, okay, teacher needs to understand the thought process of the students or children. Okay, there is a difference between 5th standard student and the 8th or 9th standard students' mentality and thought process. So you cannot teach all categories in the same way. Educators need to be, we need mentors to motivate them, to inspire the educators. Okay, and educators need to understand, and they need to develop. They need to, I can say, I always say, they need to invent their own techniques to motivate student, to impress student with their knowledge and with their wisdom. There is a difference between information and knowledge. Okay, you can Google it, you can Google any concept, you will get a lot of research paper, a lot of information, but by reading through all those material, you cannot get knowledge. So teachers or educators should, they should impart knowledge rather than information. So that's my message. And there are a lot of mentors, good teachers are here to help them. Okay, but in our society, there is our problem is give and take policy. So this give and take is missing nowadays. Earlier, our teachers, we used to learn from great teachers like Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar. Okay, he is a world-renowned international scientist. Okay, there are many teachers. They always share their thoughts with the other fellows. Okay, now because of competition, these entire things, absent. So now again there is a time to again get back to those days and learn from those leaders, learn from those educators, how they share their thoughts with each other. Okay, so this is a never-ending question.
It's a very vast aspect, and you have to dive deep into the core areas and how to do it. And secondly, you spoke about compulsory education. Do you think it's happening?
See, I can say 75% is happening in the in cities. It is happening. Okay, but in rural areas, there are some there are some issues, like political issues are also there. Okay, and because of that political issues now, facilities can't reach over there. So
we have to freeze the facilities, and we have to bind the strings together to create one economy.
People in the rural areas, they are not aware of the policies. There are a lot of scholarships government is providing, but due to lack of knowledge, due to lack of awareness,
in spite of so many NGOs coming up, in spite of government giving them so many facilities for education, so much the government is doing, still the mindset of the people is such that we just want the children to earn money either by begging or by any other way to survive in the life.
And one more important, I sorry to say, but one more important concept I need to introduce here, that there are some educational agents, okay, who grabs those opportunities, who grabs those money, and that's why these people will, they won't get this that much, you can say, opportunities. So these educational agents need to be, destroyed or vanished from the society.
Wonderful. I totally agree with this, and it's better we don't stress more on this topic, because it will become a very big entanglement. Yeah. So a lot needs to be done from people like us who want to come out and see the change. Thank you so much, sir, for being here, and gratitude to you for sharing your real views. And I would like you to take the privilege to introduce the next speaker next to you.
Yes,
after you. Yeah, thank you, sir.
I will take pleasure to introduce. Just a moment. My dear sister, who is extremely talented and passionate, Ambassador Dr. Imam Abdel Samia Al Hussein Allah. So she is the lecturer at Botany and Microbiology Department, Faculty of Science, Al-Azhar University, Cairo, Egypt. So Dr. Alam is a dedicated lecturer and a highly skilled researcher and a trainer of the trainers, trained various science-related subjects and undergraduate, postgraduate, doctoral and postdoctoral, my God, levels with a special interest in phytochemistry, plant physiology, especially green and pharmaceutical biotechnology. So she has got MSc and PhD thesis in plant physiology, production and improvement of secondary metabolites from wild medicinal plants using tissue culture technique and biological evaluation of this secondary metabolites as in treatment of many human dangerous diseases. This point is our first scientific interest. So, we'll talk later, because I'm a biotechnologist. I've done my biotechnology. So we'll talk much later. This is so interesting for me also. And I can proudly say she reviewed many international scientific books and scientific original articles, more than 250 for many international scientific publishers. She is the president of hundreds of international scientific meetings and participated as a keynote speaker, resource person, organizer, moderator, and chairperson in nearly about 1,500 international scientific meetings, and engaged in many international training programs as organizer and instructor in collaborative work with many international scientific and training organizations in many countries like Europe, USA, Asia, Africa, global ambassador of climate change awareness, and she do a lot of global awareness programs for development initiative, Abuja, Nigeria. So on behalf of Idym group of companies and igniting dreams of young minds, I welcome our dear member, our proud member, Dr. Allah. So microphone is yours, stage is yours. Please share your thoughts on NEP and grace the occasion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. It's an honor to have you today and to hear from your side. My voice is clear?
Yes, you're audible and visible. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thanks for IGYM for inviting me for today. Sorry, give me only 1 minute.
Yes.
Seriously.
Sure. Pratiksha, if you are getting late for your flight, you can please take a leave. Are you getting late for your flight? You can take a leave. But we will be more glad to have you if we can spend some more time.
Hello. I'm so sorry, but there is something. Okay. Today we will discuss together the effect of education on the growth of economy. We have different levels of gross economy related to education. We can discuss it at the individual level, at the social level, and at the international level. For example, we need also to identify education. What is education? In a report which is prepared by UK, education is identified as stock of skills, competency, and other productivity enhancing characteristics. In general, education is a critical component of a country's human capital, increasing the efficiency of each individual worker and helps economies to move up the value chain beyond human tasks of simple production processes. So this is related to the human or the personal level. Okay, so as I said before, we can talk about the personal level, the social level, and the international level. Human capital has long been considered the most distinctive feature of economic system, and further work has proven the impact of education on productivity growth empirically. For example, education is a leading determinant of economic growth, employment, and earning, ignoring the economic dimension of education. So we are in danger our future generations. For every $1 spent on education, the reward will be more than 10 to 15 US dollars can be generated in economic growth. This is according to UNESCO 2012. So when we are spending sum of money on education, it will return by tens or maybe 15s compared to what you spend on education. So education is very important. We need to talk about skills, and also we need to talk about innovation. We need to talk about social and health outcomes. We need to talk about publications. We need to talk about regional development. So yesterday we talked about sustainable development goals and the effect of education on other goals. So sustainability of life depends also on education. What about economic and social outcomes? Beside the value of education, which is well known, education is associated with wide range of benefits related to individuals and society. Education contributes to greater productivity and economic growth. Moreover, education has spillover effects. Human capital is at the heart of innovation, and also more educated workforce fosters innovative ideas, leading to more and better jobs. So education will allow people to find more and better jobs. This equals that we have individual growth in the economy of the individuals. Okay, so also education can be divided to certain levels. If we are talking about secondary and tertiary level, we are talking about innovation. We are talking about transferring the education to give us knowledge and to give us innovative ideas and to give us products. So in many areas of science, we can do transfer to our life. Like, for example, when we are talking about AI, artificial intelligence, when we are talking about cryptocurrency, when we are talking about smart cities, when we are talking about, for example, in plant biotechnology, when we are talking about conservation of endangered plants. I'm talking about a currency. I'm talking about money, science as a money. For example, we can produce, using phytochemistry, for example, we can produce huge amount of secondary metabolites from small amount of plants. We can conserve our natural, not products, our natural resources by having some natural products from some wild endangered plants. So science and knowledge can be translated to a money. We can also build small and medium enterprise, like at the edge of a crisis. We have some alternatives to some detergents and antiseptic agents, like we have already some patents in Egypt related to some detergents and antiseptic agents from aloe vera, for example. We can pure our water, doing water purification using some residues of plants. This is science, this is knowledge, this is information. Also, we can build, as I said before, small and medium enterprise. Robotics is a science. AI is a science. So education is a science, is a knowledge. So we can transfer education to be innovation. When we have innovation, so we have money. We have innovation, so we have intellectual property rights. It's a money. Because innovation will give the author some assets. These assets must provide any other to touch his productivity. So it's a money. Patent is a money. Trademark is a money. Science. Also, copyright is a money. This is education. This is the information. So we can translate education to give us information and innovative ideas. So by copyright, by intellectual property rights, by laws, by awareness, we can protect them. We can produce our own projects. So some governments, like we have in Egypt these days, intellectual property rights to some innovative ideas. So you can build your own simple or medium enterprise. It will be supported by the government. It will be supported by Ministry of Research. So it will be supported by Academy of Scientific Research and Technology. They will give you financial support to produce a project. So this is education transferred to innovation and knowledge. So it will result growth in economy related to the individual by having your own intellectual properties, your rights, which is protected by laws, also by having your innovative ideas, by having your projects, your business, your internship. So education between brackets equals money. As I said before, science is a currency. And also education and science are two faces of the same currency. Same. Here is education, here is science. Thanks a lot. I'm very happy to be with you today. That's all what I have. And thank you very much to IGIM. Thanks, Dr. Sonel, for your efforts. Thanks, Dr. Ravi and Ms. Donel, and all colleagues those are working behind the camera. Thanks a lot, and thanks for all respected speakers before and after me, and all respected attendees. Thank you very much, my dear.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. And you have covered each and every aspect of what we need, the cryptocurrency and other aspects also, which was missing by the other speakers also. So a lot has to be taken into consideration. A lot has to be thought of what implementation techniques you can do to see that education can be effectively used to boost the economy also, because it is just not about academics, how you can use academics and how you can use the education factor to pep up the economy sector in each and every diverse aspect and help people come up in life. And it is as they say, it's the survival of the fittest. So use education as that weapon for the survival of that fittest, for because life is very harsh for everyone. So education is the best weapon that one can use. Multiple skills and talents are hidden in each and every one. And Iman ma'am has highlighted all those things, what we need to do, how we need to do. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I would like you to take the privilege to introduce the next speaker, ma'am. I have set you the profile here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And now we need to introduce our sister, Dr. Shivani. Yes, are you here? Hello, my dear sister. Are you here?
Yes, I am here, Dr. Iman. Thank you so much.
Okay. Most welcome. Please allow me to introduce you. However, your CV is very fruitful, but I need to highlight some points. Dr. Shivani Sani is an educator by profession, learner by mind, and empathic by heart, passionately working towards building the 21st century skills in students, training them to be humble, responsible, and mindful. Excellent. Dr. Shivani Sani is a global life skills ambassador and also thought leader with various organizations working in the field of education. Appreciation to you, Dr. Shivani. She is also she has a great impact in starting up schools, and also she is presently heading HRM Global School, and it's in Delhi. And also her free time, during her free time, she pens down thoughts by experiences in the form of quotes, short poems, and blogs. Also, I am writing poems. Appreciation by her pen name.
This is Sentiment Shivani.
Can you spell it?
Yes,
again?
it is SENTI Sentiment, MINT. So this has a
Shivani.
story actually.
Yes,
This is the
and
title of
also
the book given to me by my college juniors, while we were passing.
excellent. And also, she is co-author of two books. First of them entitled "The Karma When It Hits You," and the second one is "Life Without the Dreams." I think life without any dreams. Let's respect and appreciate and say most welcome to Dr. Shivani. Sani, hats off to you, my dear sister. The floor is yours now.
Thank you so much, Dr. Iman. This is a
Most
blessing to
welcome, my
be
dear sister.
introduced by you,
Most
with such
welcome.
kind
It's an
words.
honor to me. It's an honor to me to introduce you, my
I am
dear sister.
looking forward for exchanging the poetries that both of us have been writing. So thank you.
Welcome. Most welcome.
And in fact, Dr. Iman had already mentioned in great details about the innovative practices. So for me to start with my take on education as a booster towards the economy, I would first like to ask all my audiences as in what do they really mean by education? Because education for me is a very vast term. It is not just only knowledge. It is learning for life. Now, why do I say that it is learning for life? Because education is a learning that is not restricted only to the scholastic areas or the post-scholastic areas, but skills, attitudes as well, which will help any individual to make his or her living. Not just his or her living, but also be a contributor to the economy of the nation he or she is living in. Hence, I say that education is a very vast term. So we all must really look into education as that and respect the profession we are in and provide the best platform for all our students. As I just mentioned that my sister, Dr. Iman, has spoken about innovation. A lot of examples that she has given. Design thinking is yet another area which is, opening a big, huge scope for all our students and as in both in the school, like the K-12 schools, as well as in the higher education space. Because what it does is it opens up the minds of the of the learners in terms of critical thinking and in terms of creativity. They become problem solvers, and not just problem solvers just by coming up with a solution to a problem or a situation, but with a lot of empathy in it, empathy for all the stakeholders. Because unless there is a solution which would take care of all the stakeholders, it might not serve the purpose. So this is going to, in return, save costs. Because what will happen? Multiple time, effort, and energy and resources will not be required. It will be at one particular point in time where a collaborative thinking happens and a prototype gets created, which is seen that is it offering solutions to all the stakeholders or not. If not, it is reworked at the time of the prototype being created so that it saves on all the energy and the time that would otherwise get spent for the final product and then not meeting the expectations and coming back and creating the entire thing again. So this is one very important aspect that is coming up, and NEP also discusses about that. In fact, since I did not find many teachers who would be trained towards it, I thought that why not let me do a small course on it, and I attended a 5-day program from a Stanford graduate, and I started teaching this to my students of grade 3rd to grade 8th in my own school. So I think all of us should step into such kind of things and should really work towards it. So that's why I said, the skills, the skill set. Now, this is a skill set that I developed in myself. And this is the skill set through which now I am contributing to the students in my school, wherein they are developing that kind of a critical mindset and a creative mindset, along with the problem solving this thing. So what is that going to result in? Let us look at that. It is not going to be limited to an individual, that is me, but it is going to be an investment in the education, which will give government the positive public returns. Why I say so is because now these educated children, when would move out, first, the gap in the skills from the school to the college will not be there, and then from the college to the industry will not be there. So they are going to be better educated citizens and they will be earning more. So what will happen in return is that they will be paying higher taxes for the entire lifetime. Imagine, because they're earning more, so they are paying higher taxes. When they are paying higher taxes, that means they are a less liability to the government. So what is happening here? The resources that are there with the government available through our taxes and all that can be utilized for those who really require them, right? So they can also be upgraded. Their skills can also be upgraded, right? So right from the early childhood education, where NEP is focusing on developing the skills, the example for this is introducing one more year in the pre-primary. The purpose is not to increase the number of years in the school. The purpose is to develop the skills. The purpose is to develop the mindset of the child. The purpose is to develop that kind of attitude in the children. So the more time in the childhood where the brain is developing so rapidly, these skill sets are given to the children, where they are role modeling their adults. It becomes very important for all of us to showcase them what we want them to be. So it's a very direct correlation, I would say, the connect between the education and between the economy of any country, increasing in equity and social mobility, reducing of poverty and all of those things, the life cycle is going to better. Now, these educated people are going to be health conscious also. So there are so many indirect benefits also of it. It is not just that it is the direct benefits that we can look at it, but we can also look at the indirect benefits. So as I just mentioned about the health outcomes, so when people are educated well, they know what is good and what is bad for them. So not only that they are going to be career conscious, but also they would be conscious living a healthy life. They are likely to live longer and healthier lives. So when somebody is healthy and is living longer, is again contributing to the economy of the society, is not a liability to the government. So hence I say that there are very strong links between education, productivity, economic growth. Workers with more skills and more productive are more productive, and the greater productivity leads to greater income. Further, when I look at education and economy, I would say that I mean, there are a lot of researchers who have been doing research. In the recent past, when we were all stuck with COVID, we saw that the education technology also changed. So we came to the online teaching more. So KPMG conducted a survey wherein it found it gave a result that says that the growth in this industry is expected to be $1.96 billion. As in by 2021, it was $1.96 billion. And see, imagine if from 20 to 21, this was the growth. What kind of a growth would be in case this continues to be like this? And what is happening? Why is this happening? We all know the benefits of the online, right? We all know that it's, you can take it at your pace. You can do it at your ease. It's a personal thing. Whenever you feel the time, you can devote your time. It's cost effective, so it would not require you to spend huge amounts of money. Even like when I just mentioned that I did a small course for design thinking, it did not ask me too much to be paid, and I could do that. I could learn those new skills. And lastly, you can do it from anywhere. You don't have to travel, right? So again, all of these factors which makes the online education easy is certainly going to increase the market of online education. So this has actually transformed the traditional classrooms approach to education and has included a new business sector. So who are growing in this? This has given rise to more jobs for web developers, instructors, administrators. So instructors now, I was going through one of the news later, I mean, like some YouTube clipping where a physics teacher was offered to teach classes online. And I think the worth of that teacher is now in billions. So I was like, wow, I mean, what kind of a transformation that is happening? So that is the depth that education has to boost the economy. So I rest my ideas here. The ideas and the thoughts are innumerous. However, we have another speaker lined up, so I would set the stage.
Before you introduce sir, just give me 2 minutes to have a review of your talk, ma'am. So
Sure.
so beautifully you highlighted so many other things, like since we were talking about creation of PPT on IDYM, and most of the educators are aware of plagiarism and other things of copyright issues and other things. So that is where we need to use education very mindfully now, because the trend is of online system, and everything is available on Google, whether it's relevant, non-relevant. Because I remember I had gone to the doctor, and there was a board written on the clinic over there: please refrain from reading Google information for medical issues. And I was so happy to see that there are real doctors out in the society who stop people to read the Google content, because
True.
already the patient is going through so many medical problems, mental health issues, financial burden of treating the medical problem. And on the top of it, if you provide them with Google content, the impact will be so bad on their mental health. So in the same way, the way you have said, we need to introduce design thinking skills, and that is there in each one of us. We have, like the way you said, you ventured into the unventured territory, and you yourself found out what is right, what is wrong, and you need to innovate yourself first so that you can empower the others in the same way. So that is where education can be used as an economic booster. And sometimes I don't think you need only financial stability. You have so many other economic boosters. If you see the magical aspects of the economy, and the way you're going to learn and unlearn on your own, the way you're going to tap your own hidden skills, this is all about economic boosters. And this is what you're going to give children from age 2.5 years onwards.
Yes,
That is what
absolutely.
is life skills in real sense. We don't want life skills of a doctor or a carpenter. That will be accomplished. So this is the second point that you said. And third one, I would like to appreciate your saying that health also is of a very real benefactor for everyone's education. So don't neglect your health, and don't neglect your mental stability just for the small pennies here and there. Invent in yourself, invest time productively. So wonderfully you have put, ma'am, the core aspects. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very
Yeah.
much. It was such a wonderful platform that has, I mean, like the topics that you have chosen, so these are actually out of the box topics.
Yes.
So could never have thought of economy booster, education as economy booster. And I have been attending a lot of webinars and I mean, like now the offline things also. However, this is for the first time, and I was like, when you go pick up such topics, it really makes you think, okay, yes, now your thinking starts. So
This
not
is
that
this
that
is
you have
this
to
is this is
repeat
this
the
is
same
this
things.
is this is what we need to make the pyramid stronger. It's not only about academic achievements. Academic, you will earn lots of degrees and doctorates and everything. But what are the hidden skills that we need? What are the
True.
hidden education things that we need to untap and which is missing in the NEP? Even if it is there in the NEP, still we need to bring out them. We need to bring out the nuggets, the core
True.
nuggets of the education, and everyone is very beautifully bringing out the core aspect, the hidden aspects on the IDYM platform. Let us all hope to collaborate together to see the change in the system. Thank you.
Definitely, for sure. Thank you so much. Now I'd like to take further this platform to introduce our next speaker, my co-panelist, Mr. Babkar Prakash Abba Sahib. So, humble welcome to you. Sir is a MA with a B.Ed qualification. He has been working in the educational and administration space with an experience of more than 2 decades. He worked with D.Ed College for 5 years, and he has also worked with a residential school for 5 years. He has been working as a 30 years. Currently, he is with a CBSE school in Pune, Maharashtra. His teaching experience with pre-primary to grade 12 students of CBSE and Maharashtra State Board makes him a man of all, as in this vertical. I mean, I'm really amazed to see, sir, somebody who would have taught right from pre-primary to 12th. So this is really, really remarkable. It's generally, seeing the PRTs or the PGTs or the PGTs, and then moving on to the principalship. So this is really, really remarkable. I am sure we are going to be learning a lot from you through this mutual co-learning space. So over to you, sir. Once again, welcome.
Please unmute, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Shivani ma'am, for introducing me very rightly. I also thank Sunal ma'am for giving us an opportunity to be part of this panel. I congratulate all the panelists who have shared a lot of inputs, and there are a lot of things which I felt still I have to go and learn them after this session. I also thank IDYM for providing me this opportunity to be part of this panel. Now, coming up to the topic, education as an economy booster, as everybody has enlightened us with the importance of education, but there are some points which I would like to highlight here. Looking at the current population of our nation, the survey which I got into is 25% of the population of our country is below 14 years of age. 67% is into the 15 to 64 age, and the remaining is into the plus 65 stage. Now, when we talk about the education sector into the taking us to becoming a economic booster, uh, what I find is the current population scenario shows us that in the next 10 to 15 years, the children will be coming up into the uh, economic booster stage, like they will be acquiring a lot of skills and being part of this economic growth of our
I think sir is having some technical glitches.
but
Yeah.
looking at the
Yeah.
education policy and the various trainings which I have, am I audible, ma'am?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Uh, Looking at the while I attended the trainings of the teachers, principals, I found that there are some trainings given by the Nipun Bharat related to the education. They are also conducted by the NCRT, and these trainings are related to the foundational literacy and numeracy. Now, while attending them, I came across the findings that many students are not attending these skills by the classes they attend in the regularly in the schools. Uh, and then we had a program to see that the students learn these foundational skills so that they become the better part of this economy. But then I thought, why shouldn't I take survey of the employees coming to me, the people who are coming directly to the education sector, and find out whether are they in this findings. So there also there is a gap about learning about the foundational skills. So it's a big revolution being taking place in this era, and this era will be deciding the uh, uh, economical boost in our society. Now, the government has introduced a lot of schemes which are for the skill orientation like Kushal Bharat, Pradhan Mantri Vikas Yojana, National Policy for Skill Development, and NSDM. So these schemes are enabling the population to get skilled and uh, see that they become the part of this economical booster for our nation. And but still, I find that when they are coming into the skill development, then the students from 12th standard to graduation, they are not completing graduation, but they are completing 10th and 12th, and they go for the skill developments. And about education as an economic booster, the national surveys are being conducted, there are census being conducted, but then the 10 years gap and the population which is coming from the pre-primary, primary, secondary, senior secondary, and the graduation. And where do they miss out when they come to the higher educations? And this population learning the basic skills, that is what I would like to highlight. And if these things are taken over, then definitely the education will make our economy boost at higher levels. Then next, my point is about the national policy of education, which is focusing on the early childhood care education. That's a very appreciable point here. The education policy has brought pre-primary schooling into the mainstream. For example, 5334 formula has brought the pre-primary into the countable section. Earlier, nobody cared for the uh, recognition of the schools or what kind of curriculum they uh, implement and what are the learning outcomes. Not it wasn't thought about. But since it is brought into the national policy, I am very happy to see this change. And also, uh, I would like to highlight here the literacy rate in our country is 77%. And definitely, being an educator, I would like to see that it goes to 100%. But again, the skilled population and again the kind of structure which we have at the government level should work on it to see that the 100% literacy rate is being achieved so that they become the elements of the uh, economical growth of our nation. And regarding trainings, a lot of trainings are coming up for the schools, for the teachers. But then again, there is no, like for Central Board of Secondary Education, there is a machinery which looks into 50 hours of training for the teachers. But for the state board, I do not find that much accountability and the teachers taking extra efforts to get them trained. So that needs to be taken care of to see that uh, this change becomes the part of economical growth of our nation. Then also one more point I would like to stress here when we talk about education for the economical growth of the country. The students who are taking education at primary level. Now, one survey had come up that every student should have Aadhaar card so that they become the part of the student database. That is the unified survey, uh, uh, unified connectivity between the schools throughout the districts of the our country. But then most of the students do not have the Aadhaar cards. But then when we come to the survey of these schools, these students are missing because they do not have it, and there is no proper or adequate machinery to come across to the students to get into the mainstream. Though they go to the school, but then they are remaining out of school because they do not have these cards. So that needs to be taken care when we think that education is a very prime concern, and we are all working into it. And we see that India becomes one of the highest literacy rate nation, and there will be economic growth. But there are still some of these areas where I find a lot of attention needs to be taken care of. And looking back to the pre-primary section to the 12th standard, now there will be uniformity in the education system. But then again, we have plenty of time gone into reframing this policy, and almost we are completing 75 years of independence, and then we come up with the new national policy of education, and it will take some time for next 2 decades at least to see the positive growth of this policy of education. And being part of this discussion, I really appreciate IDYMF for bringing this discussion to the platform so that we can exchange a lot of views, and there will be something more for us to work on it. Thank you, ma'am. This from my side.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think you highlighted all the policies and everything because that was also missing. We all need to learn from it. And just one question I would like to ask you: the place where you are working, what kind of implementation schemes are you incorporating to see to it that education is being used as the economic booster? So, can I have some input from you?
Yeah, yeah. We personally, I get a lot of trainings through Nipun Bharat, then NCRT, then state governments, and uh, my previous speaker, Dr. Shivani ma'am said, these trainings help us to train our teachers, and then these teachers go down to the students level, and they bring up their uh, expected educational achievements.
Okay. So, do you think in your years of experience, since NEP has highlighted this education as an economic booster, and NEP is there since years, I think, but the more of emphasis is given now on NEP, still there is a lot of missing. In your years of experience, did you ever feel that it is not being very effectively used as an economic booster? Because still poverty is there. Still people are not able to tap their hidden talents. Still many literate people are also not able to make economy booster through education. Matlab, I have seen many educated people saying my education is going waste. I'm wasting so much of money on courses and all. But still, then they have this. Why they cannot use education as an economy booster? So, what is the reason behind this?
Reason behind is that when we try to remember our teachers, uh, we feel still we bow our head before them. When it comes to our students, we do not find that. So the uh, passionate teacher needs to be involved so that and with the time that can be created, and we need to understand our times, students' times, and the current times. We cannot go and say, "Okay, I was going in chappals when I was in pre-primary school, and when I went to primary school, I was in half pant, and now you are so much and this and that." We cannot compare this all. We have to come up and upgrade ourselves into coming times. Now, the previous education policy and this education policy, there is a huge gap between these two policies, and in between that, this economy is developing. So we have to accept the changes and train ourselves to upgrade ourselves with the time.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that is why they say education starts from educators. So what are educators? Educators are those people who travel through the forest, bring the resources from the forest, provide them with the children, and that is what real learning will happen. Unless we educators start drowning, learn swimming, bring out the resources, and show the world that this is how it has to be done.
Yeah,
चाहे
I
हमें
agree.
कितनी चाहे हमें कितने भी ठोकरें लगे, कितने भी accidents हो, but that is the only way to empower the future next generation, because we are just talking about 21st century skills. What are those 21st century skills? These are the skills we educators can untap through education. So it was wonderful for having all of you over here. Yes, ma'am, Shivani ma'am, please tell me.
Yeah, so I would like to add to this question of yours, where Prakash sir has mentioned about the passion of the teachers. One difference that I see in the NEP is about career guidance also. You know, when you talk about economy booster, education as economy booster, while I was studying, I was never told by anybody what is good for me. So my
Definitely.
teachers did never tell me that thing. My parents could never tell me that thing. Me being the eldest in the family, I was like all blank. You know? And somebody told me that, you know what, after you do chemistry honors, you would be very reasonably placed. And the requirement of my family at that point in time was me getting into job as soon as possible. So I went to the college and I asked to fill the form for chemistry honors, and I was told that chemistry honors from this year has become integrated course, so your mathematics and physics will also be evaluated. Otherwise these two were not never evaluated, it was only chemistry. I said okay, but somebody has told me chemistry honors, so I'm going to do it whether I get good marks or not. I'm like, right? So there was the problem. But now fortunately this generation of students, as well as now the CBSE has also come up with the platform, with the portal of this thing, career counseling. uh, this is very beneficial for them. So one, they are able to find match their right interests and their attitudes with what kind of course they should be pursuing, as in even the subject choices in grade 11th and 12th, and then also the choice of the industry. Whereas in our cases, if they would say in, there are many people who have shift their industries, because for first 2 3 years they worked in one particular industry, did not find it suitable enough for themselves, so they moved on from that industry to the other industry, because our education system lacked that, and NEP puts that in. So I think this is one very important point where there is a difference.
Definitely. That is, that is, I would like to share that even a 3-year-old child, when you give them a painting, you will see so many established artists are hidden in each and every child. MF Hussain is there. Mona, the person who painted the Mona Lisa painting. You give the children paintings, see
So the
their
way we
paintings.
see, yeah,
Yeah, see the paintings of the child. So children from lower strata who want to study but they are not able to afford the education, why not take their talents and why not start building that as an economy booster, sell those paintings, use that money as a fund for their education, which is
yeah,
lacking. So
Steve Jobs.
this can be used as an economy for those children who want to study but parents are not able to afford. Use the talents inside them. Use it for economy booster. Because even a 3-year-old child and a 16-year-old child has multiple talents. We educators, we principals, we founders, or whatever the stakeholders of the education need to invent
App.
strategies, how to tap them, how to invent them, how to use them in such a way that economy is taken from them and used in a very better way for the education of those people only. Because see, a lot of money is going on. I mean, people say that हमारी आधी salary तो इधर ही खत्म हो जाती है. So that is when education, health sector, and income tax, these three take half of the salary of a person. So education is becoming so expensive. Medical facilities are becoming so expensive. So why not we educators come and collaborate together to give techniques of how to boost education as an economic sector. So a small change can make a big difference. Like a small dot can connect all the dots together. So a small change can make a big difference. And I would like all of you to be on the stage over here, all the speakers over here. and one strong message for educators on economy booster, especially. I'll start with Shivani ma'am.
Okay. I would say be passionate. If you're not, then please, this is not the space for you.
Wonderful. Next is Iman ma'am. Strong message on economy, how education can be used as economy booster.
Yes, my dear sister. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So to conclude, I need to say respect and appreciate IBR, because IBR is the money itself. It's intangible assets. As we are appreciating and respecting tangible assets, we must appreciate intangible assets. Also, I need to say that I visited Delhi about less than 1 year ago, and I found that they are using their own vaccine against COVID-19. So appreciation. We said education can be correlated by health. So when you are producing your own vaccines and your own drugs, it's a freedom. And freedom itself is a currency, is a protection. So you are not in a need to any person, to any other country to export anything. So appreciation to all countries, those are producing their own drugs, their own clothes, their own all needs. So as we said, education is a currency itself. So we need to educate our students that they must be independent, they must be responsible, they must have their own unique product, their own unique product. Don't copy and paste from others, because you need to be yourself. Thanks a lot. And this is all what I have. I'm very happy to be with you today. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful.
Appreciation to IDYM and all of you.
Prakash sir, one strong message from your side for
Yeah.
all of us.
Be the change you wish to see in the world. With the time, you have to change, or time will change you.
Yes, exactly true. Next is, I think, Pratik sir, are you there? Or have you left? Pratik sir? Is Pratik sir there? I think he has left.
He has left.
Yeah, I would like to invite Betkar sir now for the review of the session, sir. Most privileged to welcome you here.
Thank you, Sonal madam. As per today's we have learned about the education as an economic booster from the experts, as a principal Prakash sir, Pratik sir, Dr. Pratik sir, Dr. Iman madam, Shivani madam, all were explained very nicely. Since it's a very important factor, and you are highlighting daily, madam, controlling all this webinar series for highlighting different parts of our National Education Policy 2020. So today we listened about the economy. If by analogy, if we study country and our home, the members of our family, if they are doing something productive work, then economy increases as a home or as a country. The every sector or major sectors of India or any country, if they are productive, then economy always gets boosted. But education is the sector where government invests more, but not getting output as a to boost the economy as per their expectation. It's not to say wrong thing that government is doing very well, because on higher education level, crores of rupees have been distributed and issued by the teachers and R&D sections for completing their projects and practical works. Then what is the output? As per the investment, there is very less output. As Iman madam was saying that the copyright, patents, all these things certainly boost our economy, because knowledge is our economy. Knowledge is currency, as she has it. And so that if we invest, our government is investing for this. So our responsibility of the teachers and educators is that we have to become our knowledge to convert into the productive to boost the economy. as you are saying that in primary also, if you do something to have economic growth of that school or that college, such that every sector, in every level of education. Prakash sir is from Pune. I think there is a school in Pune which is making some biotechnological seeds in Chinchwad, and it is supplying to other farmers. So at every sector, there is a hope and chance to do something. So we educators do that, and for boosting our economy, education is the main route, because what the innovative things are available in the market, these are the output of our mind, those who are innovative ones. So education can boost the economy, and new education policy is increasing on this. It's very nice. So every sector, or every level of education, it will go ahead, and we will hope that education is more stable from this education. Thank you, madam.
Thank you
Sonal
so much,
madam.
sir. Thank you for the overall review. And the way you said, knowledge should be used as a valuable currency. When we lose 1 rupee, when we lose 10 rupees, we get panic. हमारे पैसे कहाँ गए? 10 रुपए कहाँ गए? Where is the money? So why not use each and every knowledge of us as a valuable currency in a very productive way? हम नॉलेज की वैल्यू नहीं करते हैं, मेडिकेशन की वैल्यू नहीं करते हैं. So let us use this knowledge, and the way the brain is picking up so much of beautiful learnings and everything, and use them in such a way that we need to use this currency also in a very beautiful way. And let's teach children also this: tap your talents, remove your hidden skills. These are the basic concepts of knowledge currency. And as Iman ma'am has used this word knowledge as a currency, so wonderful, because every organ of our body, every talent of our body, everything inside our body is like a valuable currency. Use it in such a way so that it can boost economy, it can boost humanity, it can create a wonderful culture out in the world. So thank you so much, everyone, for your presence over here. Humble gratitude to Idym, Ravi sir, and all the wonderful people working day and night to create beautiful and amazing flyers and certificates. Salute to you all, and let us all salute to them. We have completed half a century of NEP Series 20, 15 days of wonderful talk series in collaboration with all the educators. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Wonderful.
And
Thank
I
you.
must really congratulate you, Sonal ma'am, for being so wonderful. I mean, you have been moderating each and every session so very well. You are like 24/7 available. There is hardly any time that we send a message and you are not responding at that
Thank
very
you so
moment
much.
itself.
It's a
Kudos to you
collaboration.
and the good team.
It's a
Yeah.
collaboration. I remember during COVID, we were supposed to break the chain. So I am connecting the chain now. Now we don't need to break the chain. Let us join the
Absolutely.
chain, collaborate hands together. It's a learning journey to bring a change. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Best wishes for happy and
Thank
healthy
you.
life to everybody.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very
so
much.
much. Thank you, Emmanuel, sir. Thank you for your presence. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
had a background sound. That's why I didn't want to speak, because I had a background sound. I'm somewhere away from home.
So you can take the privilege to talk if you have 2 minutes. Please come and talk something 2 minutes.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I just want to say that education are the main actors of development of countries. Without education, countries may not develop. If our countries are turning to be manufacturing countries, they depend on education. Once our children are well educated in colleges, in chemistry, in physics, we can produce even the medics. We can produce a lot of products, because we have good education. We have sent our children to school, and there they learn a lot. They know how to manufacture goods, how to make things, turning things into goods and the like. So if countries have got factories that they are manufacturing a lot of goods, then they will be exporting a lot of goods. In so doing, then the economic stamina of those countries will be very strong. So we depend on education. Whatever we do in terms of development in countries, we depend on education. So, yeah, that's it, ma'am. That's it, ma'am. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. And Rachna ma'am is here. Rachna ma'am, take 2 minutes. Come on the stage, please. Rachna ma'am. Rachna ma'am, are you there? Is Rachna ma'am there? Rachna ma'am, I will take the courtesy to invite you on stage, please. I think she's not there. So I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all of you for this wonderful 15-day series of NEP talks. And salute to each and everyone. Salute to the IDYM team and the team working behind us. And for Ravi sir, for his trust in me, to support me unconditionally, and for so much of respect to each and everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good night. Rachna ma'am, are you there? No. So, okay, we take a leave over here. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear.
Good night.
Thank you very much. Good night.
I wanted to highlight point that we need to inform our students that money is not only the most important value in our life. We need to inform them that there are many values maybe more important than money. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Once again, I take a leave and humble gratitude to all the speakers. Thank you so much. Good night. Thank you.
Bye-bye.